A big day in the crypto industry today as the SEC's decision to deny the Grayscale ETF, BTC ETF, has been overturned. We'll get into what happened and how that's going to affect things in a bit. We'll also go through all the macro stuff going on this week, stuff to look out for, and of course we'll go through the usual charts, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and some TradFi as well. So if you do enjoy our content, please do like and subscribe, helps us out massively, and we really do appreciate it. So as you can see, a big green or white on my screen dildo for BTC today, up about 7%, just basically teleporting from around 26k all the way up to 28k. So huge news, and it is due to this. So there's a nice article here from Reuters, I think it is, Reuters, basically summing up what has happened. There's going to be loads of articles about this today. It is fairly breaking news. It came out about 3 hours ago. But basically the SEC's decision to reject Grayscale's application for a Bitcoin ETF has been overturned by the US District of Columbia's Court of Appeal. So basically, the Grayscale applied for a spot Bitcoin ETF. It was denied by the SEC, and the US District of Columbia of Appeals have overturned that decision. As I say, you can go through this article and sort of go into the nitty gritty and the finer details. But what I'd like to focus on is what happens now. So both parties have 45 days to appeal the ruling, and then if Grayscale ultimately prevails and the SEC does not appeal, the court would specify how its decision should be executed. That could include instructing the SEC to approve the application or to revisit Grayscale's application, in which case the SEC could still reject the proposal on other grounds. So it's a bit of a, it's not all systems go. It's not the green light for a Bitcoin ETF just yet, but obviously it is a big win in favor of a spot Bitcoin ETF. It also begs the question of, if this has been overturned, then why would they not go and approve a spot Bitcoin ETF? If not Grayscale's, one of the other ones, of course, BlackRock's coming out with one. There's various other spot Bitcoin ETF applications in progress at the moment, so the market is really anticipating one of those spot Bitcoin ETFs being approved, and obviously this is great news which they are latching onto at the moment. But as I say, word of caution, word of warning, nothing has been approved just yet, so this could just be the market jumping the gun a little bit. We need to wait and see. Of course, what we don't want to see is the same reaction to what happened when XRP won its case against the SEC, and then price literally retraced the following 2 or 3 days. So we'll go over that in the charts in a second. But what else is this coming up this week? Let's take a look. So not much. So today's Tuesday, not much today. In terms of the rest of the week, not too much tomorrow. But Thursday and Friday, we've got some data coming out. So we've got PCE and core PCE. And so PCE, as I've explained before, difference is basically an inflation indicator. So PCE is about the inflation for like suppliers, whereas CPI is for consumers. So again, just another inflation indicator there. And then of course we've got on Friday the US employment rate and non-farm payrolls as well. See how the job sector is going, and then obviously that has an impact on the Fed's policy when it comes to raising interest rates or not. So potential data that could impact the market there later in the week. Speaking of the market, let's take a look at the chart. So as I indicated earlier, we've basically teleported from just underneath this resistance 26.3 straight up to 28k. It's pretty disappointing. So I've been talking ever since we got this drop about 2 weeks ago, that if we got a daily close and hold above 26.3, then I'd be looking for that long up to 28k, including some alts. However, we got this little poke above on Wednesday, but then quickly retraced and closed back below on Thursday, stayed below ever since, and then literally today, in the space of an hour, as you can imagine, that's a very old level up there. In the space of an hour, as soon as the news came out, we just literally teleported straight up. So just one of those things, the market playing games there, you don't get that confirmation, and then all of a sudden it shoots up without you, leaves everyone behind. So sometimes the market is like that, unfortunately. Obviously a dangerous area to be looking at a lot of fresh longs here, straight into resistance. This is the resistance that we've rejected from before. As you can see, 10th of May. And 29th of May, we had quite a big drop there as well. So it'd be interesting to see if this holds as resistance, or we start breaking above this and basically returning to basically 29, 30k. So be interesting. Or do we get a bit of a pullback, bit of relief? Maybe alts start to catch up, as they've not been doing too much. Well, let's get them up actually. Where are they? So as you can see, a few of them doing all right, but they're underperforming against Bitcoin, which is usually, if Bitcoin is up 2 or 3%, alts are normally well out in front. But as you can see, not many, in fact, none of them doing better than Bitcoin. But they are certainly in the green. But maybe they catch up if Bitcoin has a little retracement or takes a breather. We'll have to wait and see. But in terms of the bigger picture, we've got the monthly close in 2 days and a few hours. And now we've bounced off this 25.2k level. It looks a lot better than it did even just a few hours ago, I should say. So it was really important for the bulls to hold this 25.2k monthly level. And it looks like that's going to happen, saving a big crash over the next couple of days, which seems unlikely. Obviously, we had Jackson Hole last week, which was the big event. That was a bit of a nothing burger, it turned out. And then we've had this catalyst today. So it all looks pretty rosy for now in terms of upside and holding this level. And the weekly, there's not really much to add. As I've said before, the weekly level is pretty much the same as the monthly level here. So nice little bounce. And we'll just have to see what happens at this daily resistance. If we take a look at Ethereum, big move on Ethereum as well, and it looks like it may well be saving this 1721 monthly level. I've talked about this many times. If there's a monthly close below 1721, this becomes one big deviation. It looks quite bearish, but as I say, we've zipped up and held it, or it looks like is the case. We've got another, as I say, 2 days or so. In terms of the weekly though, a little bit danger here at 1783. That could be a little bit of resistance on Ethereum, maybe form a lower high, which would be part of this downtrend, and then reject. So potential area there. However, if we get back above 1783, I think that's a pretty safe long up to 2k and maybe beyond. So keep an eye out for that. In terms of the daily, it looks like we're finally popping out of this mini range we've been in between 1697 and 1635. So that's pretty good in terms of price action. In terms of a trade, you'd probably be looking at a retracement to 1700, hold a support, and then hoping that it gets through 1783 on the retest. So if we take a look at ETH BTC, this is looking interesting. It looks like we are breaking out, or breaking down, I should say, from this triangle here. So we've got this support, weekly range out 0.062, got this bearish trend line. It looked like we were going to make a break out 2 weeks ago. However, we rejected off that trend line, and now it looks like we are breaking support, although we've had some wicks down here before. So what you'd really want to see is confirmation below 0.06. If we break below 0.06 itself, then I think we could be going lower down to that 0.05 monthly range low. If we break down to the daily, we do have this level as a potential bounce zone at bang on 0.06, as you can see, which has been the bottom in the past, as I've highlighted on videos before, as you can see. These areas here, so something to watch out for. Of course, if ETH BTC drops as it has been today, that's when you see alts either suffering or underperforming, which I highlighted just a few minutes ago. Bitcoin dominance itself did warn last week that this was a potential support area, this monthly range high, so you don't want to be getting too excited on alts until you see this deviate back inside the monthly range. So until Bitcoin dominance gets below 48%, you probably want to be careful with alts, especially in their BTC pairs. So something to watch out for. We could see another run from Bitcoin here if it makes bounce off this support, breaks through 52%, and maybe makes a run for 56, 57%, which alts would absolutely die. It's particularly in their BTC pairs. If that were to happen, maybe it doesn't. Maybe it just goes chopped sideways for a bit. We'll have to wait and see. But alts are definitely due a rally at some point. Doesn't mean it's going to happen soon though. What should we look at next? Let's look at the dollar. So the dollar's been looking pretty strong ever since that bounce off that monthly level at 99.63. If we take a look at the weekly though, as you can see, this has obviously helped out risk assets today, having a little bit of a retracement. What you want to watch out for, I want to get rid of that, which I can't seem to because something's in the way. Oh, there we go. What you want to watch out for is this potentially being another lower high. So we had a high here, lower high, so that high was back in February, March time. We had a lower high here in March, June, and as I say, this could be the next lower high in this downtrend. And obviously, if we break lower on the dollar, then that is good for risk assets. So something to watch out for. If not, and it carries on upwards, you've got 105 as a pretty strong level. If the dollar breaks above 105, then that's going to be really dangerous for risk assets. However, it's not looking likely at the moment. Let's take a look at the S&P. This is having another good, again, having a good day, which is why the dollar's dropping, and obviously BTC being helped out by that as well. Not much to talk about on the monthly. It didn't quite make it down to 4327, which surprised me, although it's only about maybe 0.5%, if that. Yeah, about 0.5% away. Take a look at the weekly, not really much to add. Nice little retracement for 3 weeks and now having a bounce. But in terms of the daily, it's at a really important level here. If it can get a close above 4493, which is looking likely, only another 2 hours, 45 minutes to go. If it breaks above here, then it looks like the retracement is complete. It's formed a nice little double bottom here on 4371. And it's basically breaking that downtrend, which we've seen here. Broke above, getting above this high, which was resistance all the way back in the 16th of June. Resistance there. It was support for a bit, broke. So yeah, I think if we get above 4493, the S&P is probably going to go for a little run, and that will probably help Bitcoin out as well. Although, to be fair, the past few weeks we haven't really been following the S&P, or maybe the last couple of months, we haven't really been following the S&P that closely. However, what I would say is that it definitely doesn't hurt BTC if the S&P is pumping. So something to watch out for. But one thing to be cautious of is the VIX. I know I keep talking about it. I've probably been talking about it for a long, long time now. But the VIX is still crazy low. We've not had a spike up to the 30s on the VIX since March of this year. So, I thought this pullback on the S&P was going to do it. But it didn't really get that far. And as I said, the VIX only made it up to about 18, almost 19. So watch out for when the VIX does go on that wild run back up to the 30s. That's when you're going to see a bottom formed. But it all depends on when that's going to occur. So, in summary, looking pretty good for BTC and Ethereum. They are holding their monthly levels for now. 2 days to go. However, word of caution, BTC is at daily resistance here at 28k. And alts are not looking too good in terms of their BTC pairs, with ETH BTC breaking down. However, they might catch a bid as a bit of a tailwind after Bitcoin sort of chills out a little bit, as long as it doesn't pull back too aggressively. So that's it for today. Back with you on Friday to see how the week panned out. So have a good week, and I'll see you then.